Have you ever noticed how just a few careless words can change everything? You say something small, something unguarded, and suddenly the whole room looks at you differently. One slip of the tongue, one phrase spoken without thought, and in that instant, you lose something invisible. Respect, presence, power. It happens fast, so fast you barely feel it, but you know it when it's gone. Think back for a moment. You're in a meeting. You finally speak up, ready to share your idea, yet the moment your words leave your lips, your colleagues glance past you and move on. Or maybe you're in an argument. You let out a weak phrase, something uncertain, and the other person seizes control. Or maybe it's love. You say words that seem harmless, but they quietly teach the one you care about that your voice can be ignored. It's painful, isn't it? Because deep down, you realize it wasn't an accident. Words are not random. They are the map of the mind, the outer reflection of your inner discipline. And when you choose the wrong ones, you unknowingly lower yourself, placing your worth beneath the truth of who you are. The Romans understood this long before us. The Stoics lived by it. Seneca wrote, "Brevity and calm in speech carry more force than the loudest cries of the crowd." Epictetus reminded his students, discipline in words reflects discipline in thought. They knew, the way you speak reveals the way you think. And if your words wander, your presence falters. Today, we'll uncover 5 words a Stoic would never say, because each of these words is a trap, a silent thief that steals your strength without you noticing. And the final one, word number 5, is a trap that almost every one of us falls into every single day. Miss it, and you risk living a lifetime where your voice is trampled, your authority quietly erased. So stay with me until the end, because sometimes keeping your power doesn't come from adding more words. It comes from removing the very ones that are quietly destroying you. And if you, like me, believe in the art of self-mastery, in building a presence that cannot be shaken, then take a moment to subscribe to the Stoic habit. Together, we'll grow stronger, calmer, more grounded than ever before. Picture this. You're presenting an idea. The room is alive, eyes are on you, the energy builds, and suddenly, someone cuts you off. Almost without thinking, you say, "Sorry, go ahead." It sounds polite, doesn't it? But here's the uncomfortable truth. In that moment, you're not being polite. You're giving yourself permission to vanish. You're stepping back into the shadows. You're silently announcing to everyone in the room, "My thoughts matter less than yours." Epictetus warned his students, no one can diminish you without your consent. And that is exactly what happens. Every time you apologize unnecessarily, you hand over your consent. You surrender your authority. You teach people, without even realizing it, to step over your words. Now, imagine this scene. A young employee sits in a meeting with clients. He has a sharp idea, one that could change the direction of the discussion. He's about to speak, but his boss interrupts. Instinctively, he blurts out, "Sorry, please continue." And just like that, his idea dies. The clients forget him, his colleagues forget him, the conversation moves on, and he becomes nothing more than background noise. Have you ever felt that? The slow fade of your own presence? Now contrast that with a seasoned leader. The same interruption happens, but this time, he doesn't shrink. He doesn't apologize. He looks up, steady, calm, and says, "Listen, there's more." Feel the difference? One phrase erases your presence, the other deepens it. One tells the world, "I am noise." The other declares, "I carry substance." This is the Stoic lesson. Authority does not shout. Authority does not beg. Authority is quiet confidence embodied in the way you refuse to give away your ground. So the next time you feel that automatic, "Sorry," rising to your lips, pause. Ask yourself, are you truly at fault? Or are you about to hand someone permission to step over your voice? If you wish to be heard, if you wish to command respect, guard your words as you would guard your own life. And the first word you must guard against is sorry. Now let's talk about the second word that silently drains your power. A word that sounds harmless, even reasonable, but quietly undermines your confidence every time it's spoken. That word is maybe. Think about how often you hear it. Maybe we should try this. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe that's the answer. It feels polite, it feels flexible, but hidden inside, maybe, is a signal of doubt. It whispers hesitation, and when others hear it, what they truly hear is, this person is not certain. This person doesn't fully believe in their own words. And here's the truth. When you speak without conviction, people stop listening. Because why should anyone believe in you if you don't even believe in yourself? Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, hold to what is necessary. Do not be distracted by what does not matter. On the battlefield, a Roman general could never say, maybe we should attack. If he did, soldiers would hesitate. Doubt would spread like wildfire. A single, maybe, could collapse an entire legion. Now picture it in modern life. You're in a negotiation. The stakes are high. You say, maybe we can lower the price. What happens? The other side smells weakness. They push harder. They know you've already cracked. Or imagine a relationship. Your partner asks, do you want to build a future together? And you reply, maybe. What you thought was honesty lands instead as uncertainty. And uncertainty erodes trust. But look at leaders who inspire. They rarely use maybe. Instead, they anchor their words with clarity. This is the plan. Here's what we'll do. Even when the path is difficult, they speak with strength, because conviction commands respect. That is the Stoic way. Epictetus told his students, the discipline of thought must show in the discipline of speech. Nothing reveals a wavering mind faster than maybe. So next time you feel it forming, stop. Ask yourself, am I truly uncertain, or am I simply afraid to commit? Because life will not wait for your hesitation, and neither will the people around you. If you want respect, drop the maybe. Speak with clarity, speak with presence, and watch how the world begins to listen differently. The third word is one we've all spoken, perhaps the most dangerous of them all. That word is can't. I can't do this. I can't handle it. I can't change. At first, it feels honest, even humble. But beneath that surface, can't is a prison. The moment you say it, you chain yourself to limitation. You are no longer the fighter. You become the victim of your own words. Seneca wrote, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And that is the truth of can't. It's rarely the world that holds you back. It's the picture in your mind, fear disguised as certainty. Picture this. A student stands before his class, about to speak. He whispers, I can't do this. And in that moment, his body believes it. His voice trembles. His mind collapses. Not because he truly lacked ability, but because he declared defeat before the battle even began. Or imagine a young professional facing a difficult client. She sighs, I can't deal with them. And instantly, her creativity shuts down. Solutions that could have appeared vanish. The word can't doesn't just describe failure, it creates it. But the Stoics refused to live in that prison. They understood that life will hand us storms, yet within those storms lies our strength. So instead of saying, can't, they reframed the truth. This is difficult, but it's possible. This is heavy, but I can carry it, one step at a time. And something extraordinary happens when you shift from can't to possible. Your mind begins to search for solutions instead of excuses. Your body responds with courage instead of collapse. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become its master. Remember this. Every time you say, I can't, the world takes you at your word. People stop relying on you. Opportunities pass you by, not because you were incapable, but because you convinced everyone, including yourself, that you were. So guard against this word. Replace it with strength. Replace it with resolve. Because a Stoic does not say, I can't. A Stoic says, I will try. I will endure. I will rise. And now we arrive at the next word. One that seems harmless, almost casual, but it's poison to your presence. That word is whatever. And that, my friend, is where we'll continue next. Sometimes, we lose power not through loud mistakes, but through quiet indifference. In the last part, we saw how one small word, can't, can imprison the mind. Now, let's step into another trap that's just as dangerous, though it hides behind a mask of calmness. At first, whatever seems harmless. It rolls off the tongue like a sign of peace, but the truth is far colder. Whatever doesn't mean acceptance, it means absence. It whispers, I don't care. My voice has no weight here. My opinion doesn't matter. And each time you say it, people believe you. They begin to see you as someone who has stepped out of their own story, a spectator in their own life. Someone whose choices no longer shape the world around them. Someone who can be overlooked without consequence. Picture the scene. A manager gathers his team and asks, so, what direction should we take? One employee shrugs and replies softly, whatever you decide. It sounds agreeable, even polite. But what the manager hears isn't cooperation, it's detachment. He sees someone who is not invested, someone who cannot be trusted with real responsibility. Or think of love. Your partner asks, where should we go tonight? You smile and say, whatever. On the surface, it feels easygoing. But deep down, they feel something colder, that you are not fully present. That you are there, but not with them. Over time, whatever chips away at connection. Because love is not built on passivity, it thrives on attention, on presence. It asks for engagement, for the willingness to choose. The Stoics never said, whatever. Marcus Aurelius warned, do not waste what remains of your life in speculation of what others think. Focus only on what is essential, and essential is never whatever. For whatever is not peace, it is surrender. Now imagine a Roman senator standing before his peers. If he rose and said, whatever the others think, his words would vanish before the echo faded. But if he stood tall and declared, the important matter is this, the chamber would fall silent. All eyes would turn toward him. That is the difference. One word dissolves your presence, the other anchors it. So when you feel, whatever, rising to your lips, pause. Replace it with intention. Say, here's what matters. Say, this is what I think. Even if your thought is small, even if it's uncertain, give it weight. Because whatever is the language of resignation, but presence is the language of power. A Stoic never resigns their voice. They choose, they decide, they stand. Now, let's turn to the final track. A pair of words that destroy more relationships, more trust, and more peace of mind than almost any others. They are tiny, yet absolute. They are the words, always and never. Think about how often you've heard them. You never listen to me. You always forget. You never care. In moments of anger, these words spill out like sparks. Sharp, absolute, final. But here's the problem. They are almost never true. And because they exaggerate, they do not invite dialogue. They ignite defense. Picture a couple mid-argument. One says, you never respect me. Do you think the other person listens with compassion? No, they immediately start searching their memory for proof, for every time they did show respect. They prepare their defense, and the conversation is lost, not because the concern wasn't real, but because always and never turned it into an attack. Epictetus warned, do not exaggerate what is outside your control. That's exactly what happens when we use absolutes. We take a single mistake, a fleeting moment, and inflate it into a permanent truth. In politics, in families, in friendships, these words burn bridges. A leader who tells his team, you never deliver, kills motivation. A parent who says, you always disappoint me, plants seeds of shame instead of growth. And shame, once planted, grows into silence. But the Stoics showed us another way, a way of precision. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, focus only on what is essential. Do not be carried away by impressions. So instead of saying, you never listen, a Stoic might say, sometimes I feel unheard. Instead of, you always fail, they might say, this happens often, and it matters to me. Do you feel the difference? One path provokes war, the other opens the door to understanding. One isolates, the other invites connection. So guard against these words. They may feel powerful in the heat of emotion, but in truth, they strip you of power. Because real power does not come from exaggeration, it comes from clarity. The one who masters their tongue, masters their presence, and the one who masters presence commands respect, without ever having to demand it. The Stoics understood a profound truth. Words are not just sounds carried on air. They are reflections of our character, the visible shadows of our inner discipline. To master your words is to master your mind. To master your mind is to master your life. Every sentence you speak either strengthens you or slowly erodes who you are. Guard them well, and if this message resonated with you, if you believe, as the Stoics did, that calm strength begins with disciplined speech, then take a moment to subscribe to the Stoic habit. Together, we'll keep growing, steadier, clearer, stronger. So, we've reached the end of this reflection on the quiet power of speech. If these words have stirred something within you, remember, you're not alone in this journey. We are all learning, all refining the art of how we speak, how we carry ourselves, how we hold our inner ground when the world tries to shake it. Together, we can walk this path, step by steady step, toward mastery of the tongue and mastery of the mind. And when you're ready to take the next step deeper into Stoic wisdom, I invite you to watch 7 Stoic phrases that command instant respect. This lesson you've just heard has shown you what to avoid, the words that quietly weaken your power. That next one will teach you what to embrace, the phrases that build quiet strength, confidence, and unshakable calm. Thank you for listening, truly listening, with both your mind and your heart. Because every time you choose to pause before you speak, every time you guard your words, you build a fortress inside yourself that no storm can tear down. Calm words are not the sign of weakness. They are the mark of a soul that has found its center. They belong to those who have learned that silence can speak louder than shouting, and that peace within creates respect without. So before you leave, take a moment to affirm this truth in the comments below. Sparkles, I choose to guard my words, and practice it every day. Sparkles, say it, mean it, and live it, because every time you do, you reclaim a piece of your own strength. And that, quietly, steadfastly, is how respect begins. Together, we'll keep growing, steadier, clearer, stronger. So, we've reached the end of this reflection on the quiet power of speech. If these words have stirred something within you, remember, you're not alone in this journey. We are all learning, all refining the art of how we speak, how we carry ourselves, how we hold our inner ground when the world tries to shake it. Together, we can walk this path, step by steady step, toward mastery of the tongue and mastery of the mind. And when you're ready to take the next step deeper into Stoic wisdom, I invite you to watch 7 Stoic phrases that command instant respect. This lesson you've just heard has shown you what to avoid, the words that quietly weaken your power. That next one will teach you what to embrace, the phrases that build quiet strength, confidence, and unshakable calm. Thank you for listening, truly listening, with both your mind and your heart. Because every time you choose to pause before you speak, every time you guard your words, you build a fortress inside yourself that no storm can tear down. Calm words are not the sign of weakness. They are the mark of a soul that has found its center. They belong to those who have learned that silence can speak louder than shouting, and that peace within creates respect without. So before you leave, take a moment to affirm this truth in the comments below. Sparkles, I choose to guard my words, and practice it every day. Sparkles, say it, mean it, and live it, because every time you do, you reclaim a piece of your own strength. And that, quietly, steadfastly, is how respect begins.